What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you, well, really the first of an entire pre-recorded week because I'm on vacation this week. So, yeah, if any comments I make are outdated by a week, now you know why. But, yeah, this is Sunday, so you know what? It's Legacy Day, and I am slowly but surely getting through every Prime, as today I'm doing a deck centered around Ursaring Prime. And before I get into the deck, just a reminder that if you guys like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button, it helps us out a ton, and lets us do more cool stuff for you guys. And as for the question of the day, it's Sunday, so you already know what I'm going to ask. Has anything exciting happened to you in the past week, and is anything exciting happening to you this upcoming week? I mean, well, right now nothing's exciting, but at the time that this video goes up, I will be on my way down to Texas to hang out with my best friends from high school. We're just going down there for a week to hang out with one of our friends who moved down there. So yeah, the entire week we're just going to be hanging out there chilling, and it's going to be quite a fun time. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what's going on with you guys, and has anything exciting happened to you in this past week? Definitely let me know. Also, one more kind of just side random logistical question is, do you guys hear the fan in the background? Because right now it is currently like 100 degrees. I am so ridiculously hot and sweating. I needed to have the fan on in the background so I didn't die of heat stroke while recording. So yeah, if you guys can hear the fan in the background and it bugs you, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I will try to adjust from there. I'm very sorry if you guys can't hear it and it bugs you. Maybe just like mute the video, take the deck list or something like that. Hey, even better, make up your own commentary for me. Blah, 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 salty sticks, blah, 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 bad play, blah, blah, pretzel. There, I just saved you a whole like half hour of watching me just complain about luck. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. But either way, on to the deck. Like I said, it is centered around Ursaring Prime, and you might notice that this is very, very much resembling a Reshiram deck. That's because it pretty much is a Reshiram deck that I threw Ursaring Prime into. And if you guys are looking at this, be like, okay, should I run Ursaring Prime with Typhlosion, or should I run Reshiram? Run Reshiram. Never, never, ever run Ursaring Prime. It's really, really not worth it. This thing is a stage 1 with only 110 HP, and it maxes out at 120 damage. Reshiram is a basic that has more HP and hits for more damage for less than 4 energy. And yeah, so really just use Reshiram. Use Reshiram before you use Ursaring Prime and Typhlosion. I just wanted to try to knock out all of the Prime cards except for Umbreon Prime, because that thing is literally unusable. And Ursaring Prime just paired well with Typhlosion. So Ursaring Prime is 110 HP stage 1, which is very, very, very mediocre. But I mean, hey, that's Heart Gold Soul Silver for you, except for Junk Arm because that card's busted. With the Pokebody Berserk, if Ursaring has any damage counters on it, each of Ursaring's attacks does 60 more damage. Now, okay, Berserk is phenomenal. That ability, or Pokebody technically, I'm going to call it an ability, I apologize, but Berserk is phenomenal. If this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, its attacks do 60 more damage. That would be great on literally any Pokemon that attacks. Just because, okay, well, just run a Rainbow Energy, all of a sudden just attaching a Rainbow Energy does 60 more damage. That's absurd. However, you look at its attacks and you're just like, huh, well, I see why it's allowed to have that Pokebody. Hammer Arm for 3 energy does 30. Okay. Well, maybe it has a better 4 energy attack. Megaton Lariat for 4 energy, a whopping 4 energy, does 60. Huh. So, for 4 energy, Ursaring caps out at 120 damage. Alright then, I can think of so many different cards that are better. Well, one in particular I'm running in this deck, Reshiram, because for 3 energy it does 120. And it's a basic, so you don't have to commit a whole line to it. So Ursaring Prime, not very good, but I mean, you know what, we'll work with it. We'll work with it, we'll see what we can do, because hey, I'm going to try to make all of the Prime decks work, except for Umbreon, because again, that thing is horrible. So really, just that's the whole strategy of this deck. Power up Ursaring with Typhlosion. Afterburner once during your turn. You may search your discard pile for a Fire Energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon. If you do so, put 1 damage counter on that Pokemon. That's where the synergy with Ursaring comes in. Oh, and by the way, you guys might notice that I have 20 Typhlosion Primes. Well, back when it was giving out Heart Gold Soul Silver Triumphant packs with a promo Typhlosion, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try to pull like Celebi Primes, Junk Arms, all of those extra just so I can have the ones that are tradable as trade fodder. Well, I didn't pull a single Celebi, and I only pulled a couple junk arms. So yeah, 20 locked Typhlosions. That's just phenomenal. So really just the whole strategy is attach energy to Ursaring with Typhlosion and hit hard, and the rest of the deck is geared towards doing that. We have one Smeargle, just kind of put it up there, try to set up as quickly and consistently as possible, just be able to have Smeargle be like, okay, I'm gonna let you use a you use a second supporter during your turn, because I mean, hey, who doesn't like a second supporter? 4/4 of Teddiursa and Ursaring, because I mean, hey, Ursaring Prime's main attacker, so we want to have as many of those as we can and stream them as consistently as possible. 3/13 of Cyndaquil through Typhlosion, because I mean, that's really what allows this deck to run, is Typhlosion being able to Afterburner on to Ursaring to activate Berserk. That way Hammer Arm and Megaton Lariat are now just mediocre attacks instead of truly awful attacks. And 3/13 allows us to really get 2 Typhlosion up, because I mean, 2 Typhlosion is kind of the ideal number. That way you can power up an Ursaring in one turn, attach a DCE from your hand, and then just 2 Afterburners right onto it. I mean, that's kind of just ideal. Have 2 Typhlosions in there, and then I'm running 1 Reshiram, because I mean, I'm running Typhlosion, I might as well throw a Reshiram in there, because Reshiram is an actual archetype that's really, really, really good. And if I'm running Typhlosion Prime, Reshiram is literally just 1 card that has no drawback of me putting in the deck. And then 2/2 of Vulpix and Ninetales with the Roast Reveal. Once during your turn, you may discard a Fire Energy from your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards. Basically, you used Roast Reveal, put a Fire Energy in the discard pile, draw 3 cards, and then use Afterburner to put it on Ursaring with a damage counter on it. So just a little bit of triangle synergy right there. As for the tools, running 1 Computer Search, just because I mean, this deck relies on puzzle pieces and having the right puzzle piece at the right time. Computer Search also can put Fire Energy into the discard pile. 4 Junk Arms, because like I said, this card is busted. Lets you discard 2 cards, which again puts Fire Energy into the discard pile to reuse one of the items that you had used previously. So you can use that for like Rare Candy, PCOM, Random Receiver. That way a Junk Arm can turn into a supporter, that type of stuff. 1 Lost Remover, because this deck does take a little bit, it takes a little while to get fully set up. So Lost Remover allows us to kind of be like, okay, slow down a little bit. Just make our opponent slow down, keep them from exploding too much and absolutely destroying us. And then with Junk Arm, you can continually reuse Lost Remover if you need. 4 PCOM as the only methods of searching. Really, this deck has enough discard in itself. You don't really want Ultra Ball. You don't want to have to discard like a couple. You don't want to have to discard like a Typhlosion or Rare Candy, that type of stuff. So PCOM with 21 Pokemon, you're more than likely going to have a Pokemon in your hand when you have PCOM. So you can just put that one back into the deck. It conserves resources while searching out Pokemon. That's why we want to run a bunch of PCOM in this deck. 2 Random Receiver. I love this card. That way a Junk Arm can potentially turn into a supporter late game. 2 Rare Candy to go straight from Cyndaquil into Typhlosion. 3/4 of N and Oak, just as the true draw support. We want a bunch of shuffle draw. We don't want to run any Junipers, just because there are so many puzzle pieces in this deck that Junipering could be absolutely devastating to us. 1 Pokemon Collector as a way of kind of getting just a couple Cyndaquil, like a Cyndaquil, a Teddiursa, and a Vulpix down turn 1, much like Bridget in the current game, although we don't have a Jirachi in this deck to search out, so that's a little bit of a bummer. But Pokemon Collector is still strong if you're able to get it. 1 Skyla to search for that Rare Candy or that Silver Bangle or that Lost Remover, really whatever you need. 2 Twins, because with Smeargle, you essentially just kind of leave it in the active until it gets knocked out. Well, at that point, you should be relatively well set up, and Twins can just get you 2 of whatever, or just 2 cards of whatever you need to be able to take the knockout and go off from there. So Twins is pretty good in combination with Smeargle. 3 Silver Bangle to boost the damage output, because that way Ursaring is actually doing 150 for 4 energy, which we can live with that. We can live with 100 energy, with 150 damage for 4 energy. 4 DCE, just because I mean that's what Ursaring runs on. I mean, yeah, we're using a lot of Fire Energy, but DCE is really what allows you to be like, okay, 1 Afterburner and DCE. It allows us to Megaton Lariat, which, by the way, is one of the coolest names for an attack ever. I really wish they would reprint Megaton Lariat on something, and Hammer Arm just allows you to to play those immediately. And then 7 Fire Energy, because I mean, hey, that's kind of the engine of this deck. That's kind of the energy acceleration engine of this deck, is the Fire Energy. So yeah, pretty, really pretty basic deck list. Let's go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against Hugo 090909090909. I don't even know. Hugo 09090909. So 4 09s in there. We do win the coin flip, so we will get to go first. That is always much appreciated and very nice. And we start off with, well, admittedly, we could start off with worse stuff. I mean, I'll at the very least be able to get a Teddiursa. I'll be able to put a Silver Bangle on it, and then Oak for a new hand. So, doesn't look like my opponent is running the most competitive deck, which is kind of unfortunate. But, I mean, hey, you take what you can get in the Legacy format, and I even get a Ninetales, too. So, I'll be able to get a Teddiursa and a Cyndaquil out this turn if I want to, if I decide to Junk Arm to get... yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to go ahead and Junk Arm, get rid of the Silver Bangle and the Rare Candy to grab that PCOM again so that I can get a Cyndaquil up and going at the very least. And, okay, there's only 2. Well, that's unfortunate. But, I mean, as long as I get one out, I should be okay. So let's play Cyndaquil there, and then Oak, get a brand new hand. Still no energy. So that's a little bit unfortunate right there. I could PCOM again, but I think I'm going to hold on to that just in case like I top deck a Fire Energy. That way I can know whether I should PCOM for a Ninetales or a Quilava, because if I get something that allows me to get energy, then I don't know, I still might go for a Ninetales. I'm just trying to think about what my possible plays are right here. My opponent plays a Raltston, plays a Great Ball, so... yeah, not ultra competitive, but you know what, it's... yeah, it happens. Nobody plays the Legacy format anymore, which is kind of unfortunate, or at least they never seem to be playing when I'm playing. Caitlyn. Huh. Well, in the right deck, I could see that being kind of cool, like in a fossil type of deck, maybe, where you put the fossils on the bottom. And I get it to Cyndaquil, so... let's... I could get a Typhlosion right here, actually. But I think the better play is to just... well, because what I could have done is Junk Arm, gotten rid of the Vulpix and the Cyndaquil to grab a Rare Candy, and then PCOM for a Typhlosion. But I think the better play just evolve Ursaring, just evolve Teddiursa into Ursaring Prime, evolve Vulpix into Ninetales, and then just Oak my hand, see if I can get a Fire Energy. There we go, that's better. So let's go ahead and Roast Reveal, see if we can get some more good stuff. Well, we kind of do. We kind of do. So let's play another Teddiursa down. Junk Arm, get rid of... what do I want to get rid of? Probably Twins and just the Bangle. To grab the Rare Candy. Because at this point, I'm going to get me a Typhlosion. Let's PCOM, get rid of my Ninetales so that I can grab that Typhlosion so that I can have that thing up and just start putting energy onto the field. I mean, unfortunately, by doing it this way, I'm not going to be able to take advantage of Computer Search, so I'm going to have to put it into... so I'm going to have to put it back into my deck with Oak next turn. But I think I'm just going to attach to Ninetales and then retreat into my Ursaring, so at the very least, I mean, I have something there. And also, worst case scenario, what I can do is just Computer Search for a DCE. Yeah, it will play my hand down to 0, but at the very least I'll have my Ursaring up and attacking. So I very well might do that. Play my hand down to 0, grab that DCE, and then Afterburner onto my active Ursaring, which will allow me to hit my opponent for some, well, for enough damage to get a pretty easy KO on that Litwick. My opponent does just grab another Ralts, so I have to be... seeing the Ralts, I'm thinking that this is a Gallade, a Powerful Storm Gallade deck, which could actually be a little bit annoying in the right circumstances. So I'm going to want to be somewhat careful with how much energy I play down. I'm not too worried, admittedly, but I'm going to try to be somewhat careful with how much I play, because otherwise Gallade will be able to get powered up pretty significantly and then be able to hit me pretty hard. I do top deck an Ursaring, so you know what? I'm just going to try to go for, nope, see if I can top deck into it, which I do, luckily. So let's go ahead and Roast Reveal, get another Fire in the discard pile, see if I can get a... Well, I didn't get a Typhlosion. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and Afterburner onto my active Ursaring. I could Junk Arm for a PCOM if I wanted to, but I think at this point I'm just going to hold on to everything that I have, because I really don't need to play anything else right now. Like, I can just hold on to what I've got, and we can go from there. So take Knockout on the Litwick, take a Prize, and yeah, we're good. So, I mean, I really don't know what else to say right now, because my opponent really doesn't have much going at all. I have an Ursaring powered up, I have another that will be getting powered up on the bench, and we do see a Gallade come out, so Powerful Storm could potentially be a problem if I let that thing get out of hand. I get my Pokemon Collector, which I really just don't need right now. But I am just going to go ahead and Roast Reveal, see what else I can get. There we go. So I get a couple Typhlosion. Let's go ahead and get rid of the Lost Remover and the Pokemon Collector, because I really don't think I'm going to need either of those. Grab a Rare Candy, get yet another Typhlosion up and going. So, yeah, I have two Afterburners. Let's power up the Ursaring and then Afterburner onto the active so that I can just hit for more damage, because you know why the heck not. There's no kill like Overkill, and I mean, if my opponent at this point is going to be able to knock out my Ursaring in one hit anyway with Gallade, so I just decided, you know what, might as well power them up. And yeah, let's go for a Hammer Arm. I could have gone for a Megaton Lariat, but Hammer Arm also discards the top of their deck, so I mean, if I'm getting the knockout, I might as well just take something else as well. And then Gallade, unfortunately, is going to be a little bit too bulky for me to be able to knock out in one hit. That's kind of where Ursaring kind of sort of falls short, because it maxes out at 120 damage. So you can see the power creep and... What? My opponent didn't kill me. That I don't understand. Either way, I am just going to go for a Megaton Lariat, discard the top card. I mean, or not a Megaton Lariat, a Hammer Arm. Discard a card, and my opponent is going to finally Powerful Storm. That's going to do a... Oh, attached to your Pokemon, that's right. Sorry, I read Powerful Storm wrong. So, yeah, either way, I mean, I would be able to knock out that Gallade that next turn anyway. So, clearly, I cannot read. I was thinking it was kind of like the Delphox Powerful Storm, but apparently the Gallade Powerful Storm is only Pokemon on your side of the field. So, pairing that with the Gardevoir is kind of cool. And either way, that was a first match. I got two Typhlosion set up, two Ursaring set up. There was really nothing my opponent could do at all. So Ursaring was just able to clean sweep through him. And yeah, that was game one. Let's go ahead and try to find another one with this deck. Alrighty, we have found another one against Surgisip. Is that how you say it? Surgisip. With a, well, I mean, if this was in the standard format, I would have, well, actually not standard, if this was an expanded, I would say that this is Night March. Sorry, I was getting slight PTSD from seeing that type combination. But, wow, we start off with some pretty nice stuff. I switched to DCEs because, I mean, I forgot to change them to holographic cool ones, so I decided to just go with that. I mean, I go first anyway, so I really don't need to play down all my Pokemon. I get a Cyndaquil, and I get a Skyla. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and Skyla for... Ah, crap. Well, I screwed that up. Should have held on to the PCOM. Let's go ahead and Skyla for a Lost Remover. Portrait, see what we can get. Ooh, that's not good. You get a Colorless or two. Oh, that's really bad. That is really, really bad. Maybe we can get something good off the Colorless. Well, I get a Reshiram. So let's just play that down. Why the heck not? Oh boy, this is gonna be a very, very, very uphill battle. So I'm down to one card in my hand. If my opponent manages to knock out my Smeargle this coming turn, then I literally have a whole lot of nothing that I can work with. What the heck? Giratina. Huh. You don't normally see Giratina. But my opponent does have a Thundurus come down. If he has like a Float Stone and then 3 more Deoxys, he can potentially knock me out. But he does attach to his Deoxys for the turn. And then Junipers, he top decked that Juniper. I hate everything. I love as soon as I Portrait, immediately my opponent top decks out of it. So yeah, let's Portrait. Let's grab that Juniper. There we go. That's fine. I like Juniper. Get rid of those cards. See what we can get. Still no Teddiursa. So, let's Random Receiver, see what we can get. There's a Teddiursa, there's an Oak's New Theory, that is fine with me. And then I'm just going to play an energy onto my Reshiram. And then Oak, because, yeah, I still have a supporter for the turn, so maybe we can get a Teddiursa, or we can get a Typhlosion. I'm good with Typhlosion. So, looks like Teddiursa is not going to be doing a whole lot. Unless I just want to grab it now. Yeah, let's do it now. I mean, probably should have grabbed the Typhlosion, but at the same time, I mean, this is an Ursaring Prime live, and it wouldn't be much of an Ursaring Prime live if I did what I usually do and then just make the best choice instead of the choice that showcases the inferior Pokemon that I'm trying to showcase the deck around. So you know what? We have a Teddiursa in play, and it looks like my opponent is running Lugia. Jeez, do they not run any supporters? I mean, at least we got to see their deck, so that's nice. I know that I have to be careful about when I play my DCEs because otherwise they will just loss remover them away. And my opponent ends me into a brand new hand. Well, look at that. The Pokemon gods decided to reward me for making inferior plays by just top decking me a Typhlosion and a Rare Candy. So, you know what? We take those. We definitely take those. My opponent is going to Helix Force me for a whopping 30 damage. I don't particularly care because I can Lost Remover right here. Get rid of that Plasma Energy. And then let's Rare Candy up the Cyndaquil for sure. Pecom. Get rid of the Vulpix to grab. I could grab a Ninetales or an Ursaring Prime. Let's grab a Ninetales. That way I have a little bit more wiggle room in terms of cards that in terms of what I want to draw. Let's DC. Nah, let's. Yeah, let's DCE up the Teddiursa. And nothing. So, I was banking a little bit too hard on my opponent having a supporter in their hand. Probably should have just held on to what I had because I could have just junk armed for a random receiver, which would have gotten me the supporter that I needed for the turn. But unfortunately, I'm just not very good at this game. He does get another energy onto his Deoxys. It's going to be able to hit me, but I mean, he won't be able to knock me out. He does just retreat into his Thundurus and pass. That's ultimately a good play by my opponent. Let's see if he top decked anything. Nope, he just has a Colorless Machine and a DCE. Now I just have to wait one more turn so that I will be able to. And he top decks Computer Search. So there's that. But either way, I will be able to junk arm for a. I'll be able to junk arm for my random receiver, which should get me a supporter. I mean, I don't think I have all my supporters in the discard pile at this point. But also, Smeargle should be able to portrait me a supporter because my opponent got a brand new hand. He does get the Hypnotoxic Laser, which means that Smeargle will not be able to portrait because it will be afflicted by a status condition, which is very, very bad. Very bad. And there we see the Lost Remover. Oh boy, this is not going well. This is starting to look bad. So yeah, my opponent does just decide to bring out the Lugia. Does he have the energy to be able to start? Nope, he does not have the energy to ride Knuckle. And, well, unless he... I hate to do this, but I have to in order to get something going. Like, I hate to get rid of my Ursaring. But you know what? I still have 3 in the deck. I should be fine. Let's Random Receiver. We get an Oak's New Theory. Really would have liked a Juniper, but you know what? You can't always get what you want. And also because I'm not playing Juniper. Let's play the Ursaring down. Still no Fire Energy. Jeez. I don't even know what turn this is, and I still don't have any Fire Energy in the deck. Let's Junk Arm, grab... What do I want to grab? Do I want to just grab the Lost Remover to try to put him lower, or do I want to grab the Random Receiver to try to get something better? Let's grab the Lost Remover. I mean, I need to be able to slow down my opponent just a little bit. Play the DC onto the Ursaring, and I wake up, but that's really not consequential, as I'm going to go down to a Ride Knuckle anyway. And I need to just keep that Lugia from having Plasma Energy on it. If I can keep Lugia from having Plasma Energy, then Plasma Gale will be doing nothing, and that should allow me to win the game. So we see another Lugia come down. Getting poisoned once again. This is unfortunate. So I'm just going to end. Gives my opponent a new hand, but I need a new hand to get some stuff going. There we go. Okay, there's finally I get some Fire Energy that I can work with. Let's Roast Reveal. Get rid of one of my energies. See if I can get like a Typhlosion or something like that. I do not. So I'm going to Bangle up my Ursaring. Play the Fire Energy onto Smeargle. And then I'm probably just going to... Well, I'm going to Afterburner first. Afterburner onto Ursaring, and then I think I'm just going to retreat out. Yeah, I'm going to retreat out into my Ursaring. I mean, keep my opponent from being able to take prize, and if I Hammer Arm, doing 120 damage, maybe I can discard something good. Well, a Colorless Machine. That's actually pretty nice overall. Now I'm starting to apply the pressure to my opponent. My opponent has to get some stuff going if he wants to keep up with this Ursaring, who otherwise will be able to kind of steamroll him. He does get an energy onto the Lugia. That's fine with me. I get another Silver Bangle, so that's something. How do I want to do this? Let's Roast Reveal first, see if I can get something else. Get a Typhlosion. So that definitely counts as something else. Let's get a second Typhlosion Prime up and going. Pokemon Collector, just grab that so that I have it. I mean, grab the Teddiursa so I have it in my hand so it's not in my deck so I don't top deck out of it. Then let's Afterburner once onto the Reshiram. I think I'm just going to Afterburner twice onto it. That way I have both my Afterburners later when I need it. And yeah, let's just Hammer Arm once again. Take 2 prizes off of this Thundurus. Discard a Switch. That could be nice later in the game, depending on the situation. And I get a Typhlosion and a Ninetales, 2 of which I already have. On the bright side, I do have a Teddiursa and Ursaring and Silver Bangle in my hand. So even if my opponent knocks me out, I still have an immediate response. Semi-immediate. I have an immediate response in the Reshiram. I have a semi-immediate response in the Teddiursa and the Ursaring. And my opponent does decide to get this. He gets 1 card off of it, not a big deal. Hypnotoxic Laser's my Ursaring, please. Darn it. So hoping he wouldn't get heads, because I would really like to get an attack off on this Lugia, because Ursaring is not able to one-shot. He's only able to 2-shot, and I do stay asleep, so that sucks. That just really sucks. I get an N. Crap. So, yeah. My opponent getting that 25% chance, and I stay asleep. So my opponent getting that 25% chance keeps him from being hit for a ton of damage this turn, and there's the Plasma Energy. So, yeah. I would have gotten a knockout on that Lugia, but that frickin' 25% chance, My opponent only took 1 prize. I thought that glitch was patched. Whatever. Either way, let's play the Teddiursa down, Afterburner onto that thing. And then play the N. Just, I mean, put cards back in my deck. Honestly. Because I am kind of running low a little bit, and I'll be able to hit this Lugia for a ton of damage. Yeah, he will be able to potentially Plasma Gale me next turn. But, you know what? I consider that glitch justice for that 25%. I know that glitches are completely different. But if my opponent had not gotten that 25%, that would have been a KO on the Lugia and a KO of the only thing on his board that had energy. So, unofficial justice for me. As long as my opponent doesn't get a Plasma Energy, I'll actually be fine this turn. But, I mean, again, they run enough ways to get Plasma Energy. They run enough Plasma Energy. I can't really count on that. My opponent does just attach a Prism to the Deoxys. Did he not get it? No, he did not. So that is fantastic for me. Let's go ahead and reverse reveal with Ninetales, see if I can get an Ursaring, which I do not. Yeah, let's go ahead and end. It puts me back at a lower hand size, but maybe I can top deck into an Ursaring. I do not, but, I mean, again, I have roast reveal for that when I need to. Let's go ahead and just Afterburner. Afterburner... How many times do I need to Afterburner? I only need to Afterburner once onto the Reshiram in order to get the knockout. So I'm actually going to Afterburner onto the Teddiursa. That way I have double Afterburner if this Reshiram gets knocked out, so that I have a Megaton Lariat if I need it. Let's just Outrage for 80 damage, knock out the Lugia, take 2 prizes. There's Pecom and an Oak. That means I'll be able to get another Ursaring up this turn. My opponent sends out his Deoxys, which... if he gets a Plasma Energy, he'll only be able to do 90, which isn't quite a KO. So he needs a Plasma Energy and a Hypnotoxic Laser. See the Shadow Triad, grabs the Plasma Energy. Does he have the Hypnotoxic Laser in his hand? Or does she, based on what we see up there? They're Ultra Balling. Grabbing a Thundurus. I mean, I guess that's their way of potentially recurring energy later in the game. Either way, he can Helix Force me for some decent damage. What he could do next turn is simply attach to the Thundurus, manually retreat out with Deoxys, and go from there. But I do get my Silver Bangle. And then I'm going to Pecom, put back a Cyndaquil to grab an Ursaring. That way I have another attacker. Really, I have another attacker ready to go. And then let's Afterburner once. What I was going to do is Afterburner once onto my Ursaring, and then Roast Reveal, and then Afterburner again onto my Reshiram. That way I could hit the Deoxys for a ton of damage. But my opponent did concede right there. Because, I mean, he saw that I just had enough one-prize attackers that he couldn't keep up with set up to win the game. And, yeah, so Ursaring was able to come through against a Plasma deck. Granted, don't know why my opponent wasn't able to take 2 prizes off of Plasma Gale, but that's just neither here nor there, and we take those. So, yeah, I mean, it didn't end up mattering ultimately. So, yeah, I don't want you guys saying, like, oh my gosh, you glitched him out of the game. No, I still would have won. We saw that he didn't draw the Plasma Energy. And, again, unofficial justice for that 25%. But, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And this is Styx, signing out. Why not? See you guys.